All right, good evening, everybody. Call the meeting to order. So welcome to the May 19th full board meeting of Manhattan Community Board 11. My name is Adem Bria, and I'm the chair. This meeting is called to order at 6:36 p.m. Tonight, we are joined by District Manager Angel Muscane, Assistant District Manager Khalid Nixon, and Community Associate Marlene Pierre. In order to conduct an efficient meeting, let's observe a few ground rules. 1, no one may speak until granted the floor. 2, CB11 members, if you have a question or wish to make a motion, please raise your hand and wait to be recognized. To raise your hand through Zoom, click the participants icon and you will find the raise hand function there. You should not engage in a back and forth discussion. The chair will recognize the next person to speak. The chat should not be used to discuss or pose questions about agenda topics. All such remarks should be made on the record. Please keep your questions and comments brief and on topic to the discussion. Members of the public can register to speak in the public session by completing the registration form and providing their name, affiliation, and the topic of their comments. You can register at the sign-in table or via the online registration form. A link to the online registration form has been shared in the chat. The link is also accessible from the meeting agenda. Registration for public speakers will close at 7:15 p.m. We will now take attendance by roll call.
Good evening, Jose Altamirano, Fernando Alvarez, Adem Bria, Marie Charles, thank you, Leslie Colon, thank you, Carlos Diaz, thank you, Rosa Diaz is myself, Jessica Elliott, thank you, David Giordano, absent, Ada Guzari, thank you, James Gray, absent, John Green, absent, Chancellor Gregg, thank you, Wanda Hopkins,
She's online.
thank you, Yoka Jackson, thank you, Christina Johnson, absent, Jewel Jones, thank you, James Kemp, thank you, Sage Mason, thank you, Malik McCullough, absent, Jennifer Meyer, thank you, Jessica Morris, absent, Nilsa Orama, absent, Beverly Pabon, absent, Samantha Pedreiro.
Hopkins is here.
Was that Samantha?
Hopkins.
1 second. Hopkins, where is she? Wow, Tanya Phelps, thank you. Valerie Ponte, absent. Asher Rodriguez, absent. Dawn Sanders, absent. Xavier Santiago, absent. Russell Schuler, thank you. Loretta So, absent. Derek Stampone,
Present.
thank you. Vincent Torres, thank you. Amari Vasquez,
Here.
absent. Jason Villanueva, absent. Candy Vives Vasquez, thank you. Nye Whitaker, thank you. Agatha White, absent. And for the record, David Giordano is here. Thank you.
All right, we have quorum. We will move to the adoption of the agenda. The agenda for tonight's meeting was distributed ahead of time by the board office and was posted on our website's meeting calendar. If there is no objection, we will adopt the agenda as stated. Board members, if you would object to adopting the agenda, you may raise your hand and wait to be recognized. Okay, seeing no objections, the agenda for tonight's meeting is adopted. We'll now go to the public speakers portion of the meeting. A few ground rules for those wishing to speak. One, you must sign up providing your name and affiliation. You will be allowed 3 minutes to speak. You should address your testimony to the board, not the public. You should speak clearly and into the microphone. You should be prepared to respond to board member questions in order to clarify facts and opinions presented in your comments. Board members should only ask clarifying questions. Commentary will not be entertained. We will now hear from our registered public speakers. Before I get to those who signed up, I just want to thank El Museo for hosting us once again. We always have great meetings when we're here. Is anybody from El Museo here? Yep, how are you? Yeah, thank you.
Hi, everyone. My name is Arturo Agüero. I'm the Director of Education and Public Programs. I'm here on behalf of Cynthia Carrion. I just want to welcome all of you all here, and we're excited to make the El Museo sort of a vital part of the local community. We are excited to bring y'all in. If anyone has any questions, I guess I'm going to bring some free passes, leave them at the table. So if you want to come back, and I invite you to come check out some of our new exhibits. And without further ado, I'm going to give it back to you all. What was your last name?
Thank you, Arturo. All right, we will now go to our first registered public speaker, who's, I believe, signed up twice, but will be speaking about the same thing. So Jennifer Hadlock. You want to, here, do you want to take my mic, turn around and speak to them? Where they put it. Here, this is my mic. It's okay for now. Yeah, I think that's fine.
Hello, okay. All right, good evening. My name is Jennifer. My glasses. My name is Jennifer Hadlock. I am an El Barrio resident since 2009. I love East Harlem. I am here tonight representing the Daniels Law Coalition and New York Lawyers for Public Interest. I personally have struggled with depression and self-medicated for many years with alcohol. I got sober in 2019. In 2020, during COVID, everyone knows about what happened to George Floyd. But in New York State, Daniel Prude, a Black man visiting his family in Rochester, New York, had a mental health crisis. His family called 911 for help. They asked not to send the police, but the police came and Daniel Prude ended up losing his life. Since then, his family and community have introduced a bill in Albany to have a health response rather than a law enforcement response to mental health crisis calls. There is also a push for treating mental health crisis as a health crisis and not crime here in New York City. Mayor Mamdani has agreed with this and plans to implement it with his Office of Community Safety. Under Mayor de Blasio, Be Heard, the Behavioral Health Emergency Action Response Division was formed to try to achieve crisis response for mental health crisis with healthcare and not law enforcement. Be Heard started in East Harlem, but it seems like very few people even know that it exists. Be Heard sends an EMT and a social worker instead of the police to respond to mental health crisis calls. But Be Heard is not 24 hours. It is not in all parts of the city. And even here, police still respond most of the time. There are 200,000 of these calls a year in New York City. The police are not what is needed for these types of calls. I'm currently working with the New York Lawyers for Public Interest and documenting the experiences of the most important people to hear from about the effectiveness of this system, the people who are in crisis. I'm surveying people who have interacted with the mental health crisis response system. I am a peer, a person with lived experience, and the survey is designed by peers. We want to center the people most impacted by this service, the people who are having the crisis. If you or you know someone, anyone who has had an interaction with Be Heard or other crisis response in the last 5 years, please fill out the survey. Please share it with your networks. I am glad to come to you or your community, place of work, faith institution, and explain this if that would encourage people to feel comfortable answering. One other aspect of the Daniels Law Coalition is Daniels Day. which happens in September around Daniel Crude's birthday. The event happens in Rochester, Albany, Buffalo, and has been happening in Brooklyn for several years. I would really love to have it in East Harlem. I am looking for a community partners who might be willing or interested in partnering on this. It is to bring mental health education, crisis prevention, and resources to the community. There's more to say, but my time is up.
Thank you. Any questions? All right, Candy, Kioka, and then Leslie.
Hi, is your program also for youth as well? So there isn't any age restriction?
You're asking us to fill out a survey. Can you kind of give us examples of what kind of questions are on that survey?
Sure. Be Heard actually is supposed to respond in schools and to any age. Again, a lot of times the police are still responding, unfortunately. The survey asks a lot of questions about what was your experience when Be Heard arrived? Were they helpful? Did they approach you with, did law enforcement show up? How did you feel? Did they understand you? Were they culturally appropriate with you? Those kind of questions. What kind of resources did they offer you? Did they take you to the hospital? Some people have the police called with them. We're trying to make that not happen. Those are the questions. It takes about 15 minutes, but it's really for people who have had a crisis response to answer.
Yep, go ahead.
So I don't know if people really know the history of Be Heard. Actually, Be Heard was a program that was actually scribed by the NYPD. So let's just put that on the table first, right? So although you're saying that officers shouldn't show up, which is true, right? The question for, I guess, for you and maybe what is the alternative when an EDP may be acting irrationally and may hold a weapon? Who's supposed to help in that case when you have these type of cases?
So the law actually changed. EDP is no longer the appropriate term. But most of the time, this is like what the press pushes, is that people have weapons. That is 99.9% of the time not what's happening. So yeah, most of the time you do not need Be Heard. There have been other programs around the country that have been doing these responses, and they don't need to call the police. Cahoots is a model that a lot of people know about that's been working for 30 years. They've never had anyone hurt or harmed. Sometimes they have had to call the police, but they're there with the police. This is what we're trying to push, that the police should not be the ones being the responders. And we would like peers to be also in the response, not just Gesundheit, not just social workers and EMTs, but peers.
All right, Leslie, then Jewel, and then we'll move to the next.
Good evening. What is the legislative form or the legislative number that you just said about this cause that you're putting forward?
Do you mean the bill number? Okay. I don't know the bill number by heart, but it's Daniel's law. Eddie Gibbs is signed on to it. Senator Serrano is signed on, co-sponsored.
Thank you for coming today. I encourage you to come to the Human Services Committee of Community Board 11. I chair that committee. We meet on the second Monday of the month. We're actually having Mount Sinai come to talk about mental illness and their services that they provide. It would be great if you could come as well. And love to hear more about Be Heard. Thank you.
Thank you, Jewel. I actually had mentioned you going, and possibly to public safety as well. I think it would touch well on both those committees. All right, Naif, keep it brief. Yeah, you could, yeah, all right, go ahead. I didn't at first.
Sorry, yeah. Thank you for coming. I just wanted to double check and ask, I used to work for New York Health and Hospitals. Our emergency rooms are open 24 hours, just like our streets. And so I wanted to ask if you've been in touch with Harlem Strong and the Harlem Health Initiative out of the CUNY public health building on 125th Street because they have 120 coalition group that's working around addressing mental health illness and incidences across Harlem, river to river. And I just think they might be a good partner for you.
Thank you, Nye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, we're going to go to Theodore Bernstein, Prospective Community Board 11 Youth Council Initiative, General Involvement.
Hello, my name is Theo Bernstein, and I am a student at Hunter College High School, and I'm also a local resident for over 10 years. I'm also a woodland ecology research mentorship intern at Wave Hill, so my interests encompass urban planning, environmental stewardship, and grassroots governance. So I'm incredibly grateful for the work that I'm seeing done to improve my community here today, done by the CB11 to advocate for neighborhood needs by connecting residents with city government. And I wanted to come here today to speak about how most students learn about broad themes such as civic engagement and government in classrooms, but many struggle to tangibly improve their communities outside of school walls. Teens who live and study in the district are affected by many of the discussions had by CB11's committees, from public safety and transportation to environment, open space, and parks. So there are very important constituents whose daily lives are shaped by these discussions, and so it's crucial for their voices to be heard on issues from within the district. So that's why I hope to collaborate with the Youth and Education Committee to create a youth council for the board where teens with a substantial interest in the district can develop things such as student surveys on neighborhood issues affecting them and report their findings to the board, run youth forums to share student feedback, or use ArcGIS mapping to plot neighborhood issues teens notice and relay them to the community board, and so forth. This council would, in short, give youth a platform to contribute directly to their community while helping expand the reach of the board's work. So thus, I strongly affirm the creation of this initiative to increase youth engagement within the district. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you. Any questions for Theodore? Asher?
yeah.
Oh, okay.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. All right, our next speaker, and now if you're speaking, the mic has been positioned appropriately. Thank you, Derek. Carrie King from Uptown Grand Central.
Hello, everybody. This is a two-part announcement for short people. Let's see. A two-part announcement. The first is for Harlem Wellness Festival. This is a festival coming to Marcus Garvey Park on May 30th. There's going to be this. It started during COVID when the fitness businesses were the first to be closed and the last to reopen. And so back in 2022, we started this festival to get the businesses and people out exercising together again when we were still all feeling germy and terrible. And since then, it's grown to about 40 different businesses offering everything from yoga to Pilates to weightlifting to hula hooping to aerial lifting and all kinds of stuff. So you're all invited to come. It's from 11 to 3 on May 30th. There'll be 25-minute classes. And also for the first time this year, Memorial Sloan Kettering, the Ralph Lauren Center is opening up for mammograms. So first come, first serve mammograms all day long. So that's part one of the announcement. Part two is I just wanted to give you a little context for the permit you're going to be reviewing later. Grow MIC let us know this past March that they are closing all farm stands in East Harlem, which means that now the only farm stands operating in East Harlem are south of 103rd Street. So you got, which means that from 103rd Street to 132nd Street, that's like 30 blocks without any farm stands. So Uptown Grand Central has been a partner with Grove for 10 years to run a market underneath the Metro North at 125th and Park Avenue. And so we're trying to kind of pick up the pieces and still run a market for the neighborhood north of 116th. We're also going to try to do something with La Marqueta as well, but we've sort of been scrambling to get the permits in and starting to work with farmers and get EBT and all the things we need because we're not really a market organization, but we're trying. So the permit's going to come before you later tonight, and just so you have some context, that's what we're trying to do. We don't want to leave the neighborhood without access to farm produce. Thank you.
Thank you, Carrie. Any questions for Carrie?
And we have these if you need them.
Jessica?
Thank you. It's great to see you. I'm just wondering if there's an age requirement for the mammograms.
That's a great question. I don't know. But I'll find out. Oh, I'll get the instructions from MSK. Yeah.
Thank you. Good to see you. All right, last speaker is Andre McCullough for Community Jobs.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Andre McCullough. I'm the community coordinator at Manhattan Center High School for Science and Mathematics. And basically what we're trying to do this year and for the next coming years is try to get some internships or paid internships for our students at our school to keep them off the street. Some of these people that we have at our building is doing really good, going to MIT College. Some of them is going out to Stanford University, but they also need some help with jobs. And what we're trying to do so far, we know we have SYP, but that's not enough. SYP picks certain people, so we're trying to see if there's any businesses in our communities that can help out our students.
Thank you. Any questions for Andre, Vinny? And then Nye.
Thank you, Andre, for that. Question, as relates to those students, how many students are you talking about?
Right now, we working with 75 students because what we're trying to do is we're trying to keep the age limit. So we know that our freshmen and our sophomores really can't go out there and work. So we're looking at our 11th graders and our 12th graders. So I'm saying about 100 slots. But if a business can give me like 2 slots, I can take that. That's 2 kids that now is being helped.
Nye?
It wasn't a question. I was just going to give you my business card because there's a paid program through Silicon Harlem that will teach young people how to operate drones and put them on the track to get jobs and employment in that space. And I think that that might be a good connection for you.
Thank you, Nye.
Thank you. It definitely would be. We have some people, some of our students doing cybersecurity also.
Xavier? Mike, please.
What is the period of internship you would like to see?
It's open range. We want to start everything this September because that right now it's kind of late. Most of the students is locked in. There's a lot of kids who came home from college already, so we know that them job slots are locked in, but we're looking to start everything in September.
Thank you. Nelsa?
I don't know what SYP providers you're working with, but I know that El Barrios Fight Back, they have a work, learn, and grow and an NDA program that they do during the year that they start looking at students like possibly September. So you might want to hook up with Tyrell Green at El Barrios Operation Fight Back.
Thank you for that information.
All right. Thank you, Andre. Rosa?
Yeah, I just want his email and phone number, please.
I have it. I can send it to anyone who needs it.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, I believe that concludes the public speaker portion of tonight's meeting. Elected official reports, I don't think there's anyone except for Porfirio, but I'll just read the rules anyway. We'll now hear from our local elected officials. We ask that they speak. The elected officials or their representatives complete the registration form if they wish to give a report. A link to the form has been shared in the chat. The link is also accessible from the meeting agenda. We ask that any event, service, literature be sent to our office so that we may post it and share it as appropriate. Please keep your report to 3 minutes and be mindful not to repeat what others have already mentioned. As I've said, there are no elected officials here. Their reps will speak later after new business. So with that said, we'll move to our borough president's report.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Porfirio Figueroa. I'm the Deputy Director of Community Affairs for the Manhattan Borough President's Office. I wanted to acknowledge that while not in this district, the tragic fire that took place in Inwood that so far has taken 4 lives displaced 100 residents, took a big group and organization and electeds getting together just to bring awareness of fire safety and its importance. And we are really grateful for the Fire Department of New York for their swift and courageous reports. I also want to do and take a moment to acknowledge the horrible tragedy that happened at that mosque in San Diego. We will be taking a moment of silence at our Eid event next Tuesday to honor those that lost their lives in that horrible hate crime. The Manhattan Borough President hosted the Manhattan City Council delegation to discuss a shared vision for the future of Manhattan. And we wanted to let you know that you were very well represented by Councilmember Encarnacion. They all agreed to remain in contact and work together to advocate on behalf of the 1.6 million Manhattanites that call the Borough of Manhattan home. We also wanted to take a moment to thank CB11 for its testimony and its letter to HUD dated on April 21st. In response to the mayor's 27 preliminary budget, we urge the state to take action to support New York City during this fiscal crisis, including reversing billions in cost shifts. And you can read that response in our website, manhattanbp.nyc.gov. He also testified to the Gateway Development Commission on the economic importance of this project. It is the most important infrastructure project in the country, expected to generate 95 million, let me correct myself, 95,000 jobs and create 19.6 billion in regional economic activity across the Northeast and beyond. Our office is also focused on concrete preparations as federal immigration enforcement and ICE continue to upend daily lives in our community. And we continue to convene the Manhattan elected officials and immigrant advocates to strengthen rapid response protocols and access legal representation and address the direct threat to immigrant families in NYCHA and Section 8 housing. We also continue to assist constituents and immigrants at our Harlem office at 431 West 125th Street. Our office has finalized the review of the community board applications, and the MVP will be sending out the appointment letters at the beginning of next week. We're also excited to announce that we have reinitiated our volunteer corps, and you can go to our website at www.manhattanbp.nyc.gov if you want to be part of any type of volunteering efforts in Manhattan. Two announcements. Our Eid al-Adha celebration with the Muslim Volunteers for New York is on May 26th. That's next week at 5:30 to 7:30. And the location will be the Manhattan Neighborhood Network at 509 West 38th Street between 10th and 11th. We will have food and music. It just happens to be my birthday too. And we are also having a Jewish Heritage Month celebration on May 28th, 5:30, inside the mezzanine at 1 Center Street with the comptroller, UJA, JCRC, and kosher food and beverages will be provided.
Thank you.
That concludes my report.
All right, I
Yes,
see
Nai.
Nai's hand.
I just had a question about the flash grants that are available. If you could share some information on that, thank you.
So the flash grants, the very hard date for applying for them, they will be in the amount of $10,000 to $20,000, and that is for not-for-profits. You would have to turn in receipts, et cetera, but all the rulings that apply for applying and or getting any type of money from the city do apply, but it has to be for anything up into June 27th. Yes.
Candy, go to the mic, please. Thank you, sorry.
Flash grants. It's called flash grants.
Okay,
Yeah.
never mind. All right, thank you. All right, any other questions?
If you need any information on that or want to follow up, just send me an email, and you could also do it through the office, and I can send and forward the flyer again.
Thank you. All right, we're going to now go to our business session. We'll begin with the adoption of the board minutes. The minutes from the last full board meeting were distributed ahead of time by the board office. If there's no objection, we will adopt the minutes from that meeting. Board members, if you object to adopting the minutes, you may raise your hand and wait to be recognized. Seeing no objections, the minutes from the last full board meeting are adopted. They will soon be available on the CB11 website. We will now go to the chair report. As always, I wrote a pretty thorough report. I'm not going to go over a lot of it. I do want to just talk about two things. I'll start with the Second Avenue subway. So the task force has been meeting every month. We've been very engaged and very active. You've probably heard me say this, but I think this is the biggest thing to come to this community in the last 50 years and the next 50 years. It's not often that $6 to $7 billion or whatever it is gets invested into this community. If you've been to the task force meetings, you've seen that a lot of discussions have been about signage for the businesses. I've voiced my opinions on that. You're welcome to watch the task force meeting. I think what I would tell everybody is to be vigilant. If you're nearby, walk up and down Second Avenue, document what you see, take pictures, share it with us. I'm in constant communication with the MTA. I will raise one concern with all of you, and I will share more information as it comes along. I was notified that there were 3 air testing exceedances done during the demolition of the buildings acquired by the MTA near PS 96 on 120th Street. I attended a stakeholder meeting. I believe it was mostly for Uptown Grand Central, and Carrie was there. And Carrie remembers when I brought up the air quality testing, and I asked what the exceedances showed in their report. And as far as I'm aware, one of them did show asbestos. I had asked about what the other 2 reports had shown, and they told me that, well, the person speaking might not have known that much, but no one else came to speak, said that they only knew of 1 exceedance, that they would take my word that there were 2 more. I told them that it wasn't my word. They were notifying us that there were 3. They'll be doing much more asbestos mitigation. There are signs up that show, I believe, from 112th to 120th Street, they'll be doing underground asbestos. I asked them, what assurances do we have that this will be done differently? They've told us that the right measures are in place. We were told that when the demolition for the school was happening, and so that wasn't the case. I need to follow up about the 2 other exceedances, and aside from asbestos being detected, what that rate was, how high was that? So I think I just bring this up to tell you the gravity of this situation, and that it goes well beyond the signs for businesses. As important as that is, we need to be focused on this project as a whole. And my intention is that the task force will meet in July and August. If they're going to be working then, we're going to be meeting then. Okay. The only other thing I want to talk about is yesterday, Russell Schuler, a board member, brokered a very important meeting with the president of Hunter College, Nancy Cantor, and her team. So I was accompanied by Russell, our district manager, Angel Muscane, and my vice chair, Jose Altamirano. And we had a very long, meaningful conversation with Hunter about and they're very eager to partner with the board on a host of issues and projects. Just some of the ideas that came up were a lot of the decisions this board is tasked with making require data that this board does not have. A lot of it is related to housing and what housing exists and doesn't exist. And we ask HPD for the data that's informing their decisions or should be informing ours. And we don't have that. In the past, NYU's Furman Center had conducted a study of, say, the supportive housing stock in New York City. We don't have, I believe, really a close relationship with them, but we can do that with Hunter. Some of you on the task force might be aware that Columbia University and Civitas did a presentation about the potential development on these land acquired by the Second Avenue subway, by the MTA during the Second Avenue subway. We encourage Hunter, who has a great land use department, to do one with us because they have a presence in this community, and to work with us from the start, not to come to us when it's pretty much already been done and ask us for input. Now, I'm not knocking what Columbia and Civitas did. It's great. They got our input, but I think we need to have partnerships where we're there from the beginning until the end and see it through. There was a lot more from that meeting. We left there. I like next steps. You can have a good meeting, but if there's nothing to do moving forward, that's all it was, a good meeting. So the ball's in our court to really give them some focused things we're looking to start with that we can work with. And so I encourage any of you to share any ideas you have with me. But I think having gone into that meeting and speaking to them about what their interests are, we have a pretty good starting point. Once we have something down in writing that we're looking to present to them, we can share it all with all of you and see what your feedback is. All right. So the rest of it is for informational purposes, as was that. So do I have any questions for me? All right. Thank you. We'll go to our district manager's report then. Angel, do you need a mic?
Hello. So on April 24th, I attended along with Adem and a few other members, the meeting of the Friends of La Marqueta, at which EDC spoke on the mayor's recent announcement of the city-owned grocery store to be open at La Marqueta. I just wanted to comment on a couple of things because it's been presented pretty kumbaya, and I know that some people are pretty excited about it. Frankly, I think it's a nice idea, but it's been presented, and I think that there's an assumption that the community board had something to do with it, which it did not. The Friends of La Marqueta has been meeting for quite a while, and EDC has been present, and at no time did EDC say that they were looking or considering doing this. However, that's the way it was presented in that meeting. I take issue with that. We at Community Board 11 have been very interested in the redevelopment of La Marqueta for many, 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 many years. And to have this announcement made and a suggestion made that there was collaboration with the community or with the community board, I think is something that needed to be pointed out because it's just not true. That said, there's an opportunity to inform how this market looks, how the store looks, and what it's going to be offering, et cetera. Or at least that's what we've been told thus far, that we'll have that opportunity. Just wanted to, present that to you all before you're hearing questions from the community or believing certain things that just aren't accurate. Next, on May 8th, I participated in a convening of the Futures of Community Boards Working Group, which I've reported on a number of times over the years. It's a group of district managers from across the city. So this convening was held at the Museum in the City of New York. And what we did, we had a great opportunity coordinated by Jerry Gallagher over at the museum, who secures the space for us to have our full board meetings. And we district managers had an opportunity to have a guided tour of the City at its Core exhibition. I could not recommend that more to any of you New York City geeks like myself. It's very, very interesting and incredibly well done. Besides that, so we had a guided tour of that, and then we had a short lecture with coordinated also by the folks at the museum on the history of community boards and community planning. So besides enjoying that, I thought I was inspired to present to the board, and I'll be, raising it at the executive committee meeting next week, the possibility of doing something modeled on that here at El Museo, to learn about the history of El Museo and its work, and then talk about the history perhaps of, cultural programming and cultural offerings in the community. So I just wanted to share that. I really enjoyed it, and I wanted to bring it to your guys' attention. And then lastly, the Affordable Housing Lottery for Las Raíces continues to be open, and will be open until June 16th. So next month, so pretty soon. So anyone that that's interested, please help promote that to folks that are looking to secure affordable housing here in the district. Actually, the last thing is that the office will be closed on Monday for Memorial Day.
Every time Angel says things, then I remember other things. So I just want to, on the La Marqueta thing, I don't know if you said, we do have EDC coming to the executive meeting next Thursday to speak about it. As Angel said, the community board was not involved at all, which besides saying that we should have been. I believe even the Friends of La Marqueta was not involved in it. They found out basically when everyone else found out. I will say the positive to all of this is that a lot of the details have not been shaped, right? Now, we could look at that as a bad thing. Why come present this without it really having direction? But that's a good thing because that means that there's a lot of ability for us to shape and give our input as we should. And that's why we have EDC coming so quickly. I wrote a letter to the mayor and to the EDC, and they responded, and that's how we've gotten this meeting, or I got EDC to come relatively quickly. And then just on that topic, I was informed that there's a NYCHA in your neighborhood forum that's going to, I believe, each borough, and one of them is going to be in East Harlem. I believe it's June 17th. I can, yep. Well, Chancellor, I don't know. I'm going to shout Chancellor out for making me aware. It's public information. Just the only reason I'm bringing this up now and not in announcements is it's kind of disheartening to hear this forum is coming to East Harlem and the board has not been notified. It's the same as the rental ripoff hearings. It's now this with NYCHA. It's been this with La Marqueta. My hope is the mayor set up this office of mass engagement. I know we've been trying to get in touch, and I know that's a new thing and they're setting it up. And I'm saying this optimistically and positively. If they're doing a lot of great things in this administration, then the board should be involved, especially when it comes to our community. We were there, Nilsa and I, at the rental ripoff hearing when people from NYCHA were outside protesting, wondering why there wasn't something for NYCHA. We're the ones raising these issues. We're the ones making these points. The people in the community are as well. We should be finding out to let them know. And so that is something we're looking to address. All right. With that said, okay, Dawn's hands up. Go ahead, Dawn.
Yeah, I just wanted to amen what you and Angel said about, if we haven't been consulted, I know that there was a lot of contentious issues that different agencies were like, oh, well, the elected agreed, especially on the transportation front. Oh, the elected agreed to give up these parking. The elected agreed to do this. And then, that agreement was taken as that the elected is basically, trumps the community board. So I just wanted to amen that the community board needs to be independent. And I'm glad that we've managed to be independent, and I look forward to us not allowing any elected official to speak on behalf of the community board and call it good that they were in agreement. So I'm not pointing fingers. I'm just saying, as a person kind of on their way off the board, that I just really hope that you guys maintain that independence and not feel, even if you were appointed by an elected official, not feel that you have to basically just do whatever the elected official says. So that was just my thank you and my 2 cents.
Thank you, Dawn. All right, we do not have a treasurer's report because there is nothing to report on. Oh, okay, Nye, go ahead.
Just wanted to also remind the chair and the board that ABNY, the Association for a Better New York, is going to give a tour of La Marqueta in the supposed site of the grocery. So I did send that over to the board, but I do think it's another example of how everyone is so excited about this announcement that everyone is jumping. And I think not only should we push back on the fact that we're not being collaborated with, but also use it as an opportunity to make a lot of ask and put the things that we need to make this a success in front of all of these organizations, because It's not just the mayor's office, it's other groups that are jumping to the fact that we are about to have a big stake in what comes next in the administration. And we should be looking at this as an opportunity to get our list ready of all the things we need, not just for La Marqueta, but for our district as a whole. And then I just wanted to add one other point, which is that I think it's really important that when the EDC comes, they also give us an update on the African American burial ground, because that RFP just closed a couple weeks ago. I think it was the 4th of May. And while we have them, I would love to see if they could give us updates on both of those projects that are anchors for our community. Thank you.
I actually asked them in that same email. I'll share it with you if you don't believe me. So we're on the same page.
I doubt you.
No, I know. We're on the same page. So yes, the EDC has been very responsive in terms of coming to the table. My hope is that some good will come out of that, and we'll start to be able to weigh in meaningfully as these things develop. All right, as I was saying, there was nothing for the treasurer to report on. I'm told he will have a pretty robust report next month. There is no vice chair report. That's why I talked a little longer. And so with that, we'll go to our secretary report. Rosa?
So I don't have a full report, but I do have just something to say, please. And I don't want to seem like begging, but please let me know if you're unsure of your attendance. We make the attendance report at executive, and I don't want anyone, sending me text messages or calling me or with kind remarks about your attendance. So please, 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 you have my email. Let me know when you're available. I'll make myself available. That's literally it.
Okay, thank you, Rosa. That was great. All right, we've now arrived at our committee reports and resolutions. In order to conduct an efficient meeting, let's observe a few ground rules. No one may speak until granted the floor. Board members, if you have a question about board business or wish to make a motion, please raise your hand and wait to be recognized. The chat should not be used for business or questions about agenda topics. All such remarks should be made on the record when recognized. Please keep your questions and comments brief and on topic to discussion. Votes will be conducted by roll call. Okay, first up's executive. I'll keep it brief. We haven't met this month, but we met last month after full board. The committee voted to send 3 bylaws to full board. All those bylaws have been shared with all of you. We will be voting on those at next month's full board meeting. The other thing that I just wanted to touch on, which I think a lot of committees saw that it got implemented pretty quickly. We're weighing in on our local electeds' bills. I believe we have 3 letters of support for tonight for those. That's just the first step. We are going to also start looking into proposing to our local electeds our own proposed bills or suggestions to their bills. The hope is that it will strengthen our relationships with them. As you can see tonight, we're going to need that. None of them were here. My hope is that doing this will get them to come to the table and meet us in the middle. But that's not the only reason we're doing it. The other reason is a lot of what they are proposing is stuff we agree on. And rather than start from scratch, we can piggyback on that and, kind of like we support you, you support us kind of thing. So was very happy to see how the committees took that on quickly and hit the ground running with it. So executive for this month will be next Thursday, 6:30 p.m. at the board office. And as mentioned, EDC will be coming in to talk to us about La Marqueta, among other things. That agenda has not been finalized yet. Okay, so that concludes the executive. Is there any questions for me? Or are there any questions for me? No? Great. Okay. We'll go to the Second Avenue Subway Task Force. I'm just going to say, please keep it to 3 minutes, especially if it's for informational purposes. All right?
Good evening, everyone. So we have not met yet, but we will meet soon. However, the work is continuing to be done. That's right. We did meet. So we meet after full board. But this month we haven't met yet, so it still kind of works. We are keeping a lot of pressure on the MTA. Just recently, they brought in signage for the businesses after Some of these businesses have been down like that for about 6 to 9 months. It's a considerable amount of time. For a small business, 30 days is a game changer. So we need to make sure that they are aware of this. They're putting up barricades. We're not sure why they can't time the putting up of the barricades with the signage. It should be something very simple for them to do, considering the scope of this project. However, they failed at that, and we are making sure that we're holding them accountable for this. There are certain very, very dark areas that have been created due to this construction, so we're dealing with that as well. And me and them have walked up second night. I don't know. This is, it's like a weekly thing. We're going up and down, but it is improving. We want to continue to make sure, because these businesses are not going to survive if they don't get the help that they need. And we'll meet soon. So please, what date?
This coming Tuesday.
This coming
Well,
Tuesday. So
we'll
if anyone is interested, please come by or log in. Thank you.
Any questions for Jose? Okay, we will move to district needs and budget. Sage?
I can use this. Yeah, so we had a great meeting this month, district needs and budget. We wanted to talk about the executive budget, but the executive budget had not yet come out when we met, but it has since been released. Also, we have an amazing new member, Fernando. Welcome to the committee. But the executive budget came out on May 12th, and I wanted to highlight some items from that. Compared to the preliminary budget, which came out in January, maybe February, the mayor's administration successfully closed what was measured to be I think, $12 billion budget gap. And so we have to worry a little bit less about various programs not being completely funded, which I think is a positive thing. However, the long-term outlook is still not very positive. I think we're projected to still have a deficit of several $billion in fiscal year 29 and fiscal year 28, which is, or is it 29 and 30? Yeah, which is not great. But we'll, I guess, cross that bridge when we come to it. Regarding their responses to our budget requests that we submitted, there weren't very many changes, but there were some things that we had previously received stronger commitments on that were sort of downgraded in the responses we got in the executive budget. I'll also say that the executive budget is not the final budget. The city council is now evaluating the executive budget. They will have hearings starting May 26th. And we encourage anybody here to go to those hearings. If you want to testify on behalf of the board or your committee, talk to your committee chairs or a DEM, and we can set that up. But some specific items are that the DOT, instead of saying that they supported some of our items like streetlights, sidewalks on 124th Street, and NYCHA perimeter sidewalks, they changed, the Office of Management and Budget changed their responses to just need further study, which is not great. It also, we had our East Harlem points of agreement related to the, I think, 2017 rezoning. And a big issue that we've constantly been advocating for is the construction of a, what's the word we use? Like a state-of-the-art dual district garage, sanitation garage. And in the points of agreement, we were supposed to have gotten a commitment for that. And every year since then, the mayor's office and the Department of Sanitation, I'm probably at time, has given positive news about that and has said that they were still committed to it. But this year, for the first time, they just said the funding for that is uncertain, which is a pretty serious blow, I think. Some good news is that NYCHA got a lot of money. Yeah, that's good. What do you say, Chancellor? It's not enough, but it's more than the past. And then aside from that, uh, the new public input survey that has been released, and we'll start trying to get people to fill that out, passing out QR codes. And we have an updated budget tool, which will allow everybody to more easily deal, and maybe I'll give a presentation on this in June, but will allow every committee to more easily evaluate its budget request for submission in October. And we will also be holding district budget consultations with various agencies and points of contact throughout the summer, so that our requests, when we submit them in October, will hopefully be better.
Okay, thank you, Sage. Any questions for Sage? Okay, thank you. And we will go to housing now. Milsa, you're up.
Good evening, CB11. Great to see everyone here. I'm going to keep this brief. I want to urge you to really read the minutes of the housing this month. Beverly Pavone writes these minutes, and she does always a great job. Beverly, you could put your hand up if you want to, but she's looking at me like I ain't doing that. All right. So we had several things on the agenda. One of the things, we had two announcements that I'm going to reiterate them because they haven't happened yet. There is a series of town halls addressing development-specific issues. Normandy Court, June 11th from 6 to 7:30 at PS 198. And then Franklin Plaza on May 22nd from 5:30 to 7:30 at the Tito Puente Auditorium is going to be discussing a lot of their issues. And I also want to thank Leslie Colon, who sent me a link to an article regarding the Second Avenue subway and the businesses that are really impacted at Franklin Plaza. So for the Second Avenue Subway Task Force, if we haven't read it, Leslie, I'm sure will send the link to everyone. We had a project update on Ascendance Pack portfolio in CD11. A lot of questions were asked, and so please read the minutes where it has more detailed points. And I'm gonna move it on to, let's see, we also discussed NYCHA, especially in relation to Pac Rad and, a lot of concerns about evictions when you have families that are part of the Pac Rad portfolio and enough isn't done, they're afraid that they're going to be evicted. And so we were reiterating that there is a layer that you just don't get evicted like that, because I think that's really important that we know that. As Adem mentioned, we started looking for committee support and discussion regarding our legislative agendas. And so we discussed some bills that were put at the table. We did not get a final decision or a letter of support, so that will be happening in June, further discussion and support. We also had we had a presentation from the Harlem Coalition for Age in Place and Affordable Dignity, and they were talking about the HDFC and getting priced out based on income, and there's a legislative bill that could address that. And again, the committee asked a lot of discussions, but deferred it to get further information, which with fine tuning regarding income that's coming into the households and stuff like that. And with that said, I'm going to stop there and hopefully force you all to read the minutes if you're curious about the rest of it. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Any questions for Nilsa?
No
Okay,
questions.
we will go to licenses and permits. Candy, you're up. If you need any help, I'm here.
Thanks. Good evening, everyone. So we had several interesting meetings last at our meeting. EJ Kitchen, new application for a wine, beer, and cider license for a restaurant located at 1567 Lexington Avenue, New York, 10029 on 100th Street. The committee recommended that the application for EJ Kitchen be denied because the required documents were not provided on time. A motion was denied by Anne Marie Vasquez and seconded by Ada Gaizari. I hope I'm telling your last name right. I'm sorry, I don't want to kill it. Okay. And the motion passed. The second is Casa Ricardo, new application for a full license, liquor license for a restaurant located at 2145 Second Avenue, New York, New York, 10029 at 110th Street. The committee recommends that the application for Casa Ricardo be denied because all the required documents were not provided on time. A motion to deny was made by Anne Marie Vasquez, seconded by Keoka Jackson, and passed with one abstention. That was from Judith Fabero.
Candy, you mind if we,
Want to discuss that?
yeah, I think this might be the
Okay.
time. All right. Before we go to that one, so number one, the documents would now be considered on time. So we will be voting on that under new business because we told the applicant that they would be brought here. And now we'll go to number two. And I don't know if, Jose, you want me to speak on it or you? Okay.
So we were able to get, our chair was able to get us a meeting with the SLA in regards to Ricardo's. We know that there's been some confusion in regards to this permit. Just to make things clear, what occurred, so that everyone here is clear. There was a change of ownership, same owner, but different corporation. When that happened, they checked everything because it's not seen as a renewal. And because of that, they had a conflict with the Temple for the Jehovah's Witness, which has been there for a significant amount of time. It was not because there was a lot of false information given. It wasn't that the Jehovah's Witness complained. There was no one complained. This was simply the SLA doing their, their due duty and going through it as a new application instead of a renewal. And now, thanks to Google Maps, it's very simple. Before, and in that meeting, it was alerted to us that in the application, the initial application 20-something years ago, if you put 200 feet, it had a no. And that was a problem. So currently, that is the situation. The SLA has asked us to make which we would be looking to amend the current motion because the information was then given, and normally we would pass it. However, due to these issues that are currently standing, they instructed us to do a motion of acknowledgement because the situation really isn't with us and it's not with any house of worship or any, it's an internal situation that Ricardo's has now with the state and the SLA. This law has been in place for many years. And while we agree that there could be changes, but those changes have to be legislative. It's not something that this body can oversee. It's not in our purview. So as such, until that is addressed up in the state, we're going to take a position of acknowledgement instead of a denial or in support. And we just wanted to make sure that everyone is clear in the information because unfortunately, Facebook and Instagram went wild.
Yeah.
And a lot of people were kind of pointing at different, and it was, unfortunately, it was very tragic because none of those, the Jehovah's Witness has no idea this has even happened. And it wasn't a complaint by them. There was nothing to do. Just to make it clear, this is simply the SLA. As a new application, they look at it differently. Typically, a renewal, they just stamp and move on. As a new application, they looked around. This is there. They probably checked when it was founded. It's been there for a significant amount of time since I remember it's been there. So we just want to make sure that this community board and the body is comfortable and like knows exactly what's happening so that you can give better information. I think some better information is now on the social media, but it still was very tragic because people took a very harsh stance, and that's unfortunate.
Let me just, and we're going to take questions. That's why we kind of paused it here. So, the SLA, and I think Jose said this, they are not going to give them their license. They're going to go to a beer and wine license. The license ends this month as a full liquor license. There's nothing we can do. And to piggyback on why we would take no position on this, this information was not provided to the committee at the time they took the vote. They were not made aware of this issue. They were presented that it was not within 200 feet, and so they went that way. So this denial as it stood was only because the documents weren't in on time. Leaving that meeting, we assumed we would be amending to approve it this evening. The SLA informed us that they are enforcing the rules as they exist. If the state electeds want to change the rules, they can do that. I personally think the rule can be changed, and I'd be open personally to supporting any legislative changes. I've been told there have been bills introduced recently now because of this, but I don't know if that's true or not. We can look into that, and if this board wants to weigh in or opine, we can. So that's where we stand right now. Do we have any questions? All right, we'll go Nilsa, then Sage.
Thank you. So I must have faded out for a minute. I'm so sorry. It's one of those days. So it was because it was a house of worship?
It is
that what
it was
a
and
house of
is,
worship?
yes.
Because I know that at one point they used to have student services there as well on 110th Street. Candy's shaking her head. So it has nothing to do with the fact that they're nearby schools as well. Nothing like that.
The only thing that was raised was that it's from the within 200 feet of the Kingdom Hall for the Jehovah's Witnesses, yeah. Sage?
Yeah, I don't know too much about this issue, but I just want to say we take positions on things that are not necessarily in our purview all the time. So I don't think anybody's request that we do like a letter of acknowledgement rather than an approval or denial. I don't think that matters that much. However, like we might as well just not vote on that. And then I'm just wondering if you guys know why they did this corporate restructuring that resulted in them having to file a new application instead of a renewal.
I'm not going to comment on that. We're not sure. That's not information that we ask when an applicant comes. As far as not taking a position, that's not been the position of this board to not take positions. As far as an approval or a denial, you're all welcome to do what you want, but understand this. Understand that an approval is going against what the rules are. It's also saying that every applicant that's come in here and said they were within 200 feet and did not get a full liquor license did not get it. At the same time, a denial is saying that, we're kind of not supporting a small business that's been there for 23 years. The other thing is we're not just going on what the SLA told us, although we did ask them their opinion. They didn't tell us what we can or cannot do. The main reason why I also think that is the committees do the work. The committees make the suggestions to the full board. The committee did not have that information at that meeting, and they were not able to meet before this meeting. And so I don't think that it would be appropriate to litigate this further at this meeting, especially when things are going to stand as they stand regardless. So I think it's in the best interest of this board to acknowledge it. And in all honesty, I don't think there really is a need for more discussion on this matter. If there are any other pressing questions or comments, we'll be happy to take them. But otherwise, we can leave it at that. We could go ahead to number 3, and then when we circle back, we can amend 1 and 2, and then it should be business as usual. So, Candy. Okay. Nye, this is the last comment I'll entertain or question. Come to the microphone, please.
That situation went viral so quickly with elected officials and community members, supporters of the restaurant, all commenting, and it really blew out of proportion very quickly. And so I'm just wondering, does CB11 now have an opportunity, either executive committee or other, to think about how we address situations like this in the future that go public? Because we don't really use our social media in the same way. We don't issue like statements. Like, is there something that we can do as a lesson learned in the future to try to get in front of situations like this should they occur? That's all.
I'll comment. I think the lesson should be learned from us, actually, that you shouldn't rush to comment when you don't know what you're talking about. That electeds should come out and speak quicker about the main issues this community faces and not have all of them come out about one liquor license. At the same time, we also have to speak as a group. And so it's harder for me to speak out to anybody when we haven't taken a position. I don't have the luxury that an elected official has to just come out and comment. I do agree with getting ahead of things, but I also believe sometimes silence is golden. As far as I know, we're the only ones that met with the SLA to get these facts straightened out, and that happened on Friday. So we are speaking now from an informed position that, as far as I'm aware, a lot of people who went on social media did not do. And as Jose said, then that created issues where people were blaming the house of worship for something they had absolutely nothing to do with. And that's very dangerous. So,
I agree with you. Ch- I just meant something as simple as like CB11 is like putting out on social, right? CB11 has been made aware of that, and we will reserve our, time to comment until after our board meeting on blah, blah, blah.
we
Just
could do
for the
that. Thank you.
that,
Yeah.
like, takes the air out of it, because not everybody comes to the community board meeting, and then sometimes we're left with a negative impression in the community, even though, we had nothing to do with it. That's all. Thank you.
I know. They're going to do that to us anyway, probably, but thank you. All right. We'll go to number 3, Candy.
But hopefully this will get everyone engaged to come to our meetings now that, they come out from Ricardo's. Anyway, so moving on to number 3, 111th Street and Madison Rest LLC. New application for a full liquor license for a restaurant located at 1665 Madison Avenue, 10029 and 111th Street. I'm gonna make it quick. I'm not gonna put New York City because we all know that this is gonna be in the city. Okay, thank you. Um, for those that want to get technical, I just want to let you know.
You're good.
Thank
Go
you.
ahead.
The committee recommends that the application for 111 and Madison Rest LLC be denied because the applicant did not attend the meeting. A motion to deny was made by Anne Marie Vasquez, second by Ida. Ida, please give me. By Ida Gazari and passed unanimously. Number 4, Guadalupe Restaurant Corp. Renewal application for a wine, beer, and cider license for a restaurant located at 179 East 115th Street. The committee, this is on 115 and Third Avenue. The committee recommended that the applicant for the La Guardia Restaurant Corp. Be approved. A motion was was made by Carlos Diaz, second by Ara Gazari, and passed unanimously. Number 5, Jeannie's LLC, DBA Cafe and Deli Azalea, NYC, temporary retail permit and class change application for a full liquor license for a restaurant located at 409 East 116th Street, First Avenue. The committee recommended that the application for Jeanette's LLC, DBA Cafe and Deli Azalea, NYC be approved. A motion was to approve was made by Anne Marie Vasquez, seconded by Ara Gazari, and passed unanimously. Number 6, En Nuevo Sandy Restaurant, Inc., renewal application for a full liquor license for a restaurant located at 2261 Second Avenue on 116th Street. The committee recommended that the application for En Nuevo Sandy Restaurant, Inc. be denied because the required the documents were not provided. A motion to deny was made by Carlos Diaz and seconded by Wanda Hopkins and passed unanimously. Callejon Corporation Corp. DBA El Callejon renewal application for a full liquor license for a restaurant located at 209 East 117th Street on Third Avenue. The committee recommended that the application for Callejon Corp. DBA El Callejon be denied because the required documents were not provided. A motion to deny was made by Carlos Diaz, seconded by Judith Fabero, and passed unanimously. Number 8, 115th Street LLC, renewal application for an adult retail dispensary license from OCM for a property located at 345 East 115th Street, New York, First Avenue. The committee recommended that the application for 115 Corner be approved. A motion to approve was made by Judith Fabero, seconded by Carlos Diaz, and passed unanimously. Do you wanna, I was gonna say no, listen, I know, but I wanna say, we're gonna vote all the whole thing, and then everybody, okay, no problem.
And you don't have to say who made the motion. just
All
say
right, no
who made
problem.
it.
Yan Cantor Children's Day Street Event, May 21st, 2026. Location at 106th Street between Lexington Avenue and Park Avenue. The street closure, full street closure applicant Justin Riveros and the sponsors are the Lexington Academy. Number 10, East 125th Street Farm Stand, Farmers Market, Wednesday, June 10th, 2026. On December the 16th, 2026, something's wrong here. The location, East 125th Street. Okay, so they're gonna finish so it starts June the 10th and it will continue all the way to December the 16th. The location is gonna be at East 125th Street between Park Avenue and Lexington Avenue. This is gonna be a partial sidewalk street closure, and the applicant is Carrie King, Uptown Grand Central. Number 11 is FIFA 2026 World Cup Watch Day. It's a block party, June 13th. And this is going to be located at 100th Street between Lexington Avenue and 3rd Avenue. It's a sidewalk and street closure. The applicant is Jacqueline Quiros. The sponsor is the same person. Number 12 is Lakeview Reunion. This is a block party on June 20th. And that's going to be between 107th Street, Madison, and 5th Avenue. It's a full street closure. The applicant is Michelle United States. Yeah, that's the name. That's the name. And the sponsor is Residents of Lakeview Apartments. Number 13 is Love Day 26 Block Party. This is going to be June 27th. Location at 107th Street between Madison Avenue and 5th Avenue. Is a full closure, and the applicant is Samuel Moore, residents of Lakeview Apartments. Number 14, 109th Street Annual Block Party. On July the 4th, 2026, on 109th Street between Madison and 5th Avenue, full closure. Applicant is Sonia Gibson. Sponsors is 109th Street 109th Street Annual Block Party. Jefferson Local Neighborhood Stat 2026. The event will be July 16th on 2nd Avenue between 112th and 115th Street. Full closure is a full street closure, excuse me. The applicant is Maronanti Ogulegi, and the sponsors are Office of Neighborhood Safety. Number 16 is Johnson's Local NSTAT Neighborhood Stat 2026, July 23rd. That's on 112th Street between Lexington Avenue and 3rd Avenue, full street closure. Applicant is Maronanti Ogulegi, and the neighborhood stat safety. Number 17 is Community Day Religious Event, July 18th, between 100th Street and Lexington and Park Avenue. It's a full street closure. Applicant is Reverend Felipe Ayala. The sponsors is Life Changers Academy. Number 18, Back to School Block Party if Street Event, August 22nd. Location will be at 100th Street between Lexington Avenue and Park Avenue. Is a street closure. Is a full street closure, excuse me. Reverend Felipe Ayala, Life Changers Academy. Finally, we've been busy. Number 19, The Longest Table, 1199 Block Party. Is August the 2nd on 111th Street between New Street and FDR. Full street closure. This applicant Rihanna Anmestica. Sponsor is Rihanna Anmestica. And that concludes my License and Permits Committee report.
Thank you, Candy. All right, Angel, correct me if I'm doing this wrong, but we'll do number 1. As we said, we're gonna amend that because they now have all their documents in time. So would somebody like to would it be a motion to amend this to now support this application? Made by number 1, we're starting with 1. Carlos makes a motion to approve, seconded by Xavier. Yep, we'll just do it by acclamation. All those in favor? Any opposed? Any abstentions? Any present not voting? Motion passes. All right, we'll go to number 2, all right, Casa Ricardo. Would somebody like to make an emotion to amend this to simply be an acknowledgement to the SLA that we received this application? Okay, Chancellor makes the motion. Is there a second? Seconded by Beverly. We'll do a roll call on this one. Go ahead, Angel. Because I'm seeing, I want to do a roll call on this one. Sorry.
Jose Altamirano. Fernando Alvarez. Yeah, the motion is to acknowledge. Adem Brija.
Did everybody hear that as a motion to acknowledge?
There we go. Yes, what she said. Marie Charles. Leslie Colon. Carlos Diaz. Rosa Diaz. Jessica Elliott. Was that? Yes. Thank you. David Giordano. Ada. I'm going to learn your name after this. I'm going to write it phonetically, and I won't have this problem anymore. James Gray. John Green. Chancellor Gregg. Wanda Hopkins. Keoka Jackson. Christina Johnson is absent. Joel Jones. James Kemp. Sage Mason. Abstain. Malik McCullough. Jennifer Meyer. Jessica Morris is absent. Nilsa Arama. Beverly Pavon. Derek Stampone.
Yes.
Samantha Padero is absent. Excuse. Tanya Phelps. Valerie Ponte is absent. Asher Rodriguez. Enthusiasm, Asher. Don Sanders.
Abstain because I'd rather approve, so abstain.
Abstain. Gotcha. Xavier Santiago. Yes. Russell Schuler. Loretta So is absent. Derek Stemp. Oh, I already called Derek Stemp. She came? Oh, you sneaky rascal. What's your vote, Loretta? What's your vote? Yes. I didn't see you. Vinny Torres. Thank you, Speedy. Anne-Marie Vasquez is absent. Jason Villanueva is absent. Candy.
Yes.
Nye. And Agatha. Motion carries.
All right, we're gonna do this for 10, but we're gonna do acclamation. We're not gonna go by roll call on this one, all right? We had to, I know, I'm trying. This is going pretty quickly, believe it or not. Number 10, so this is for the East 125th Street Farm Stand. Like number 1, they did not have their documents in on time, but they would be considered in time for this meeting. So do I have a motion to amend? Okay, motion by Nye to amend it to approval, seconded by Vinny. All those in favor? Any opposed? Any abstentions? Any present not voting? The motion passes. All right, I'm going to ask for a motion now to bundle items 3 through 9 and 11 through 19. So is there a motion to a bundle and approve? That's made by Malik, seconded by Xavier. All those in favor? Any opposed? All right, Rosa's opposed to number 8. Any present not vote? Any present not voting? You're present not voting on number 9? Asher and David present not voting for number 9. And Fernando. Thank you, David. And I'm present not voting for number 8. Okay.
And I'm done as a no on the adult dispensary, whichever one that was.
Okay, so Dawn is a no on number 8 too, just so you know.
Oh, that's 8? Okay.
And Nils is a no on number 8. Okay. Okay. The motion's pass. Okay. All right, that's set. And now we will go to what? We already did those. Yep. We're gonna go to environment, open space and parks.
Thank you, everyone.
Oh. Okay, for environment, open space and parks, we have a motion was made by Chancellor Gregg to provide a letter of support for the Central Park Conservatory Water Basin and Boathouse renovation project. The motion was seconded by Samantha Pedreiro and passed unanimously. A motion was, Candy? Thank you. A motion was made by Chancellor Gregg to provide a letter of support for the Central Park, no, this is a different, sorry. A letter of support for the Central Park Conservancy Parkwide entry rule signage proposal. The motion was second by Rosa Diaz, myself, and passed with 1 abstention by Agatha White. And the third motion was made by Samantha Pedreiro to provide a letter of support for intro 0054-2026 on air quality monitoring at heavy use thoroughfares, co-sponsored by our council member Elsie Encarnacion. The motion was seconded by Agatha White and passed unanimously. And also, for anyone that is not aware, we're having our East Harlem Community Gardens Tour Saturday, May 30th from 10 to 12 p.m. Everyone is welcome to join, and we are going to meet up at Harlem Rose Garden, located at 8 East 129th Street. If you have any questions, let us know. And lastly but not least, I want to thank everyone that was able to attend our 5th annual Earth Day conference at the Museum of the City of New York. We are extremely grateful for all the environmental organizations like the Mayor's Office of Climate and Environmental Justice, We Are, Beyond Plastic, Friends of the Esplanade, Department of Health, East Harlem Community Partnership, Metropolitan Hospital, SWAP, CUNY Hunter College, New York Parks Rangers, It's My Park, Rondo's Island, New York City Parks, Maggie's Magic Garden, RC and Culture, PS 171, PS 007, and PS 72 Children's Aid, and everyone that was able to attend, presented, and gave a lot of informational resources. And of course, we also want to thank Senator Jose Serrano and Community Liaison Kate Leslie for uplifting our work and joining and also providing a proclamation. Oh my goodness, my computer froze. A proclamation for our environmental work. So we thank you so much that you're honoring us, and I believe this is the first time ever that we have received a proclamation. So yeah, thank you.
Any questions for Rosa? All right, we'll take one. Beverly?
Thank you. In regards to the event that's on at 8 East 129th Street, what are the hours?
Yes, 10 to 12 p.m. We are going to meet at Harlem Rose at 10 a.m. No problem.
Okay, thank you. All right, in the sake of time, I'm going to ask for a motion to bundle and approve 20, 21, and 22. So 20 is to provide a letter of support for the Central Park Conservancy's Conservatory Water Basin. 21 is a letter of support for their park-wide entry rule signage proposal, again, the Central Park Conservancy. And 22 is for a motion to approve for a letter of support for intro 0054-2026 air quality monitoring at heavy use thoroughfares. So is there a motion to bundle and approve? Jewel, seconded by Candy. All those in favor? Any opposed? Any abstentions? Any present not voting? Motion passes. Thank you. And now we will go to Human Services.
Good evening, everyone. So, we had a very good meeting, I would say. There were a lot of announcements, so please look at our minutes. I do want to make, I just want to call your attention to one particular announcement. The DOHMH is having a RAD Academy training in East Harlem, Monday, June 15th, 2026, 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. in this very room. So please come out for that. I also want to make mention of that we discussed having Mount Sinai come to our next meeting in June to discuss mental health services that they provide. So it was very timely that this individual spoke earlier, and hopefully she can make it to this meeting on June 8th for our next Human Services Committee meeting. We did have a resolution here. It's a motion to provide a letter of support for Senate Bill S9880, an act to amend the social service law in relation to automated identification of eligible participants for the Medicare Savings Program. The motion was made by Chancellor Gregg, and it was seconded by Leslie Colon, and it was passed unanimously. And I must make mention of the fact that it was introduced by our very own Senator Cordell Clare. Thank you.
Thank you, Jewel. Any questions for Jewel? All right, so I'm going to just read the motion in again, and then we will just do a vote. We don't need a motion or a second since it comes from committee. So there was a motion to provide a letter of support for Senate Bill S9880, an act to amend the social service law in relation to automated identification of eligible participants for Medicare savings programs. And that motion was passed unanimously. So to this motion, I'll take a vote. All those in favor? Any opposed? Any abstentions? Any present not voting? Motion passes. Thank you, Jewel.
Thank you.
We'll now go to Youth and Education. Asher, you're up. Thank you.
All right, I'm gonna try and make this quick because we had a lot of stuff. So first of all, we had Dr. De La Cruz and also the CEC as usual come present, but we also had a new superintendent who he has two schools within the district, the Manhattan High School's superintendent, Gary, I forgot his last name. I'm so sorry, Rosa. Bideman or something like, yeah. My bad if I said it wrong. So thank you, Rosa, for inviting him. We will have him on the agenda for future meetings. My apologies for not having him on the agenda this time because I did not know he was coming. We spoke about a bill from Senator Cordell Clare, which is what the motion is about. It is the Student Suicide Prevention Act. Basically, it redefines what bullying is, as well as make sure that every school in the state is mandated to have a suicide prevention plan and team. A lot of questions of what we got during the meeting was we already have that in New York City, which is understandable, but also something that was brought up is it's important to have state protections because the city could always change something. The only little like request we put was the bill originally states for 7th to 12th grade. We put that we would like it to be extended to 3K. We had the Children's Aid Saturday program come present. It's a program that has historically primarily served deaf and hard of hearing youth. However, they have opened it to the students of Lexington Academy, and I am a little biased because I do work for the deaf and hard of hearing program, but they are teaching, they are bridging the deaf and the hearing communities, and kids are very resilient. And I've seen a lot of our kids from the week ask questions, want to learn the sign. They've been learning some sign language. So yeah, it's a very good program. They are looking for more participants, specifically who are deaf and hard of hearing. Correct me if I'm wrong, David. Okay, good. All right, he gave me a thumbs up. So yeah, so if you know any, and this is a citywide program, so if you know any people who kids who are children of deaf adults, codas, siblings of deaf people, or it's a deaf and hard of hearing child themselves, let me know and I could connect them. It's a free program that operates most Saturdays out of the year. They go on trips, and just also socialization is a very important thing for these communities, because a lot of these kids, they don't have deaf parents, so they don't have people to communicate in their language. So one of the primary reasons for this program is for them to be able to socialize. And we also just are prepping for district budget consultations, because I've mentioned before, a lot of our responses to our initial budget requests, we had nothing approved. I went back and looked yesterday. So it's just trying to strategically talk to these agencies and see if we can get some stuff approved. Is there any questions?
All right, Candy.
My question is, and thank you for, this, I commend you that at least we're servicing the special needs that we're not addressing. We should be addressing more programs like this, especially advocating for them and people with autism. So, but where's this gonna be, like what are the hours and where is it gonna be taking place at?
So this program already, and David, feel free to interrupt. This program already takes place Saturdays out the year. It runs from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. and it's out of the Lexington Academy. It was originally out of the East Harlem Center, but when the East Harlem Center moved down to Lexington Academy, they moved the program down there with them. And just to clarify, their unless the child is specifically in Lexington Academy, if a child doesn't have a relationship with the deaf community, they can't join. So it's like really for hearing children wise, it's only open to the children of Lexington Academy. However, if it's a child of a deaf adult, a sibling of a deaf person, or a deaf or hard of hearing child themselves, they can from anywhere in the city, they could participate.
Okay, thank you. All right, seeing no more questions, we will go to the motion. I'll just read it into the record and then take a vote. So there was a motion to write a letter of support for Senator Cordell Clear's Bill S 2705-A. I'll leave it at that. Okay, you heard it already. So all those in favor? Any opposed? Any abstentions? Any present not voting? The motion passes. We will now do land use, landmarks, and planning.
All right, good evening, everyone. I'm Derek Sampone, Vice Chair of the committee. The chair, Jason, was unable to join us this evening. All of this is for information only, no action items. We had a presentation from the Department of City Planning as it relates to one of our budget requests. We're curious about conducting a study in East Harlem to determine unoccupied or underutilized properties that could possibly be developed into affordable housing. And we spoke to a variety of folks. There was a meeting before it that Angel was at. And unfortunately, they shared that that just doesn't exist, right? That type of information. They spoke a little bit about the difficulty of that. They did give us some ideas of what to do and maybe other folks that we could partner with or at least start getting that information. So we're going to work to coordinate with other folks to see that we're able to do. Jason wanted me to share that if in the meantime, there is a particularly vacant property or underutilized property, especially on private lots, to let us know about it. We're going to figure out some way to put together a database. We think it's important to have that information to help us with the things that we're advocating for. The other presentation that we had was put together by our land use consultant, George James. He talked about the sort of status of the points of agreement with respect to the EDC project on 125th. There's been movement there, but there's still a lot unfulfilled. And so if you want to educate yourself more about that, you can view that presentation on the website. The presentation came at the suggestion of Angel to sort of remind all of us of the history of that site, where it's going, and the additional work that'll need to be done there. it seems like things will start happening there and then they're going to happen maybe quickly. So we want to be able to be proactive rather than reactive. Let's see. And so per call from the chair about engaging with the electeds and possible local legislation as well. So we're going to work to see how the POA can be satisfied given a lot of the changes that have happened there, some of the projects that have been done there, and sort of like what it will take to make sure all of those promises end up being delivered. And that's all I have for you. Any questions?
Thank you, Derek. We will go to public safety and transportation.
Jose Altamirano. Tonight are the Eastern Conference Finals, Game 1. So I just want to say go Knicks. We're off to a slow start, I've heard. So we're trying to move this along. All right, we have a motion made by Jewel Jones to include the following language in the existing 2023 CB11 letter of opposition to the 3rd Avenue and East 128th Street pedestrian bridge improvement project. Motion was seconded by Christina Johnson and passed unanimously. Just a quick recap, because this is an important capital project that's coming. They will be changing 128th Street that comes from 3rd Avenue Bridge. They're going to make it more, they're going to be removing the overhead bridge that is not ADA compliant, which no one really uses. People just cross. They're going to be extending pedestrian bulbs out, which is great for the pedestrians. We feel that that's a good addition because we want people to be safer. However, this is one of our choke points for this community, a community that has one of the highest levels of asthma. And we are highly concerned that the new pattern will cause significant traffic, which it will. It will increase maybe double or triple what is currently there, which will spill out into the Bronx. As such, we are requesting that they make 3rd Avenue a two-way street from 128th, possibly only to 127th, or if they should feel that it's easier, down to 125th Street. Just so that we have requested this before. We were told that it is unsafe, that we were told a few things by one of the commissioners. However, below 24th Street, 3rd Avenue is a two-way street in a highly congested traffic zone. And there, it happens very smoothly. At 24th Street, it becomes a one-way street, and south of it, it's a two-way. There's no there's no major accidents. There's nothing and there's no reason that they can't apply this here, because we have to consider the 2nd Avenue subway, which is already causing significant more traffic, is going to be there for years, not 6 months, not a year. So we have to consider that as that traffic meets from 2nd Avenue, Harlem River Drive South, also the ramp also meets there and goes down 2nd Avenue. We need better ways for our community to be able to displace this traffic. We were hoping that they meet because 127th Street going eastbound has very little usage, like almost no usage. So making a two-way street there enables us to go down 27 and creates less of a bottleneck there. Or if they want to bring it down to 125th Street, we're also open to that. We would be willing to any one of these. So that is I just want to make sure that the full board is aware of this, because this is a request that we're asking for DOT. This project is supposed to be finalized, but they can always make changes as they see fit. And the next motion was made by Sage Mason to provide a letter of support for intro 0073/2026, local law requiring the Department of Health and Mental Hygiene to staff each police precinct with a licensed social worker. Included in that letter will be a question on implementation should this bill pass. Motion was seconded by Keoka Jackson. It passed unanimously. Our chair has sent different bills by our electeds to each committee. This way we can work hand in hand with our electeds. This particular bill, due to the mental health situation that's happening, is an important bill. This individual would be at the precinct and would be able to facilitate with the precinct, however the precinct deems it necessary. So it's a very straightforward bill.
Yep, go ahead.
You like to ask the question?
It's just a quick question. My question is, are they including some help for the youth as well? Because everything is for adults and they're forgetting about the young kids.
Sorry, what are we talking? On public safety.
On public safety,
Where are we?
the Department of Health,
mental?
Oh, that's going to be for everyone that, it's not necessarily for
Not a
adults.
one size
No, no, I
fits.
understand, but it is for this particular person. This is a master social worker that will be there at the precinct's request. It could help the officers, it could help the person that was being incarcerated, or it could help the family members of the person who was a victim or the victim themselves. So it's not necessarily for adults or kids. It's like kind of to facilitate anyone that requires help.
Okay, last question, Beverly.
Yes, in regards to the Third Avenue traffic thing, if they're going down a two-way street on Third Avenue, going from 128th Street to 127th Street, that street goes in opposite directions. So would that be dangerous regarding all the kids that's in that school area? That's what my concerns is. If it can go past, because it's only going to be one block from Third Avenue to Lexington Avenue, then they have to turn again because 127th Street going westward doesn't go all the way across. It stops at 20.
So just so
Lexington.
where most people that would want to go down Lexington turn at the bridge and go down Lexington.
Mhm.
So it really wouldn't help you all that much to make the left. But that's why we're requesting this from DOT so they could look at their planning situation. As we stated, this is done downtown in a much
Right.
significantly higher congested area. And I haven't seen them change it. From
Right.
24th Street down, it is a two-way street, Third
Mhm.
Avenue.
Yeah.
And there's schools, there's a significant, I go to Baruch there, so I tell you,
Okay.
like, there's a lot of other primary schools and they seem to not have an issue, so I think that we can facilitate that, or if they make it deemed to make it a one-way street the other way, whatever is up to them to plan. Again, it's our suggestion, but
Right.
it's up to them how they get it.
Okay, thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Beverly. All right, so I'm gonna ask for a motion to bundle 25 and 26. I'll just read briefly each one. 25 was a motion made to include the following language in the existing 2023 CB11 letter of opposition to the Third Avenue and East 128th Street pedestrian bridge improvement. I won't read the language that was already read. And then number 26 was a motion made to provide a letter of support for intro 0073-2026, a local law requiring the Department of Health and Mental Hygiene to staff each police precinct with a licensed social worker. Do I have a motion to approve and bundle both? Chancellor, seconded by Candy. All those in favor? Any opposed? Any abstentions? Any present not voting? The motion passes. Thank you. And now we're on economic development and culture.
Thank you, Chair. Want to thank everyone. It's information purposes only. However, I want to thank all of our members who showed up to the job fair, including our executive team who came by. Thank you very much. We will be getting information about the effectiveness of hiring. As you know, when you have companies or agencies, they go through a whole process. We'll be having that information trickle down as soon as we get it, and it will be disseminated. We are going to have a continued walkthrough on Second Avenue Subway with the businesses that are affected May 26th. So we'll probably be losing a lot of calories along with Adem and Jose as we walk down Second Avenue. But we're actually doing outreach to all the businesses to hear what their true problems are. I've sent that information from that first walkthrough to our chair, who's disseminated to Joe O'Donnell, the MTA. With that, we'll continue our outreach throughout to all the businesses in the community. Anyone who wants to get involved, you live in a block, three blocks, three businesses. Please take our information, share it with them, and also collect theirs and find out what their top issues are so we can actually be effective in guiding policy. So thank you very much. If there are any questions, yes. Roseanne.
Yes, so I was able to make it to the job fair, and just a little feedback, I guess. There were like 4 tables of union settlement, and when I asked them, oh, you guys are, hiring, and they were like, no, we're just providing resources. So, and there was like maybe 2 other ones that were, like just taking people's resumes, speaking with people. So like basically 2 people for the job fair. Like there wasn't a lot of people, just were tabling with resources, no job fair hiring at all. Just so you know, feedback, that's all.
No, thank you very much for that. I'll take that to Allison Union Settlement. I will say that one of the branding issues we saw with the MTA hiring fair is that a job fair actually is about resources, not just with gainful employment, but also guiding people to obtain gainful employment. For example, and Parks was there, and they were hiring seasonal employees for this summer. For example, lifeguards, that's one of the issues we have. We need to hire people who know how to swim and save lives. Again, when dealing with branding, it's well noted. I'll take that back to union settlement and job fairs as we did back when we opened up East River Plaza. It had both resources and hiring, but again, we're facing the headwinds of there's a lack of employment opportunities in certain sectors, but some of them that we're attending, they're hiring people who have terminal degrees. So again, thank you for that feedback.
All right, thank you, Xavier. We will now go to board oversight.
I just want to know what time the Second Avenue stuff like walkthrough is.
Xavier, the walkthrough on May 26th, what time?
Anne Marie is going to be sending a time, and I've asked her to please share that with the entire body. She's been coordinating with the Chamber of Commerce, so thank you for that question. Thank you.
We'll put it in the newsletter too.
That'd be
leading up to it.
fantastic.
All right.
Thank you. Yes, we do. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Now to board oversight.
We're having a rocky start to the next game. So, board oversight has yet to meet. We'll meet, however, just to give you a rough overview of what we're planning to do. Next month's meeting, we are going to focus on having a kind of a mock trial situation for the new members. As you know, by next month, we will have a significant number of new members. But what we do at this particular, we are going to schedule that meeting just so that new members can sit with a more experienced member, and we can basically run them through how a full board meets, how a committee works, how a motion gets done, so that these new members are a lot more active from the beginning. Most of you that have experience being a new member, can be overwhelming and can be, you're not sure of what your abilities are, or what you can, what you can't do. As such, we are taking this task and meeting it head front so that we can make them, now with our term limits of 8 years, we need people to like kind of get adjusted at a faster pace. And as such, we are going to be taking probably June, our meeting for there, and we may have a meeting in July for those of the new members that don't come in June. We're also doing some escalation logic processes, which are very simple. If this happens, and it'll make it very easy for anyone to kind of escalate. If you have an issue with another board member, with your committee chair, we're also going to be speaking about implementing our quarterly reviews, where committee member can review their committee chair, the chair can speak about the member, if you're active, not active. Again, we're looking for like positive feedback in order to like help improve whatever is currently happening. Thank you.
Any questions for Jose? All right, that concludes our committee chair reports. We'll now go to old business. There is an item. So it's number 27. It's a reconsideration of Teamwork on 3 LLC, doing business as Teamwork on 3, removal application for a full liquor license for a restaurant at 2007 Lexington Avenue. To kind of give quick context, this application came to the committee, I believe, not this month, but the month prior. Removal application basically means they took their license from the location they were currently at and moved it to another one. There was a lot of concerns from the commanding officer and the 25th precinct about the way business was being conducted at the old location. The applicant, there was a lot of noise outside, hanging out outside, double parking, potentially violent incidents. We can't confirm whether or not they were directly related to that business. The owner said that by moving the business to a bigger location, that the spillover and those problems on the street would not happen. The committee at the time made a conditional motion to approve as long as that applicant did not get any 311s in a 3-month period. Since this has happened, they have moved to the new location. My vice chair and I, as I believe other members have, gone by there and witnessed that things have not gotten better with a bigger location. The commanding officer notified me in email and writing that there were already numerous 311s and that the same problems were persisting. Because they did not meet our conditions, I sent a letter to the SLA informing them that we rescind our position of support for that application. The reason this is on on old business now is I could not take that next step, which I'm asking us to consider tonight, which is a motion to the SLA for them to revoke this license. In all my time here, I've never seen the commanding officer or the precinct come in so adamantly about us not approving a license. The committee, I think, did their best to support small businesses and give this applicant an opportunity. I had a constituent come in literally in my first constituent services meeting. That was the first thing a resident there came to tell me they were concerned about. So with that said, if there's any questions, comments, otherwise I will entertain a motion to revoke their license. Malik?
So, I would like the opportunity for that owner to come speak to the full board and hear whatever he have to say. One of the reasons why I say that is just because, I mean, I went there on my own just to see what was going on one day, probably like 2 weeks ago. It's pretty calm. They had security moving them out the way. Maybe I went there on a different day, a better day could have been something else. But I do think I don't want to say due process, but we have to give our community members not members, our community, some type of way where they can, defend themselves or whatever. If they had, just like somebody came to the community board, what if they had a notice and they brought a lot of people from the community that said otherwise? So I'm just want somebody to just have that opportunity in order to hear them out as a board. I know licenses have their own work and that's the committee, but if we're gonna do it on a board level, I feel like we all should be able to hear that side too. That's all I'm saying.
No, I appreciate that. I will say this, a lot of what we vote on here, we don't get presented. It only goes to committee. With that said, and I left something out, and I don't know if it had been brought up previously, and it's not something we've typically done with applicants. Our vice chair, Keoka Jackson, met with the applicant at the 25th precinct to go over this before we initially approved this application. A lot of promises were made there and they were not kept. The precinct has for the commanding officer to send me a long email telling me this is happening again at another location, their new location. I found it concerning and I found it necessary to bring this before all of you. We didn't seek this out, but we were staying on top of it. I was asking, are there any issues? And that's when I got this email. So I acknowledge and respect Malik's point, and some of you may feel that way. But again, I'm going to now ask if anybody would like to make a motion for this license to be revoked. Yeah, of course. Go ahead. Yeah, you're the vice chair of that committee. Go ahead.
Malik, I totally agree and would hope that we were able to do that. So when we met, I think I think the reason why I could stand on this particular point is because we specifically gave him, we talked through everything, right? And the commanding officer who who stood on ground still gave him the opportunity to work with the safety officers to ensure that there were things that he could put in place in order to do better with. And so I think, the concern and I think community concern, right? So as we stand here, we are representing the community, but we also have to hear the collective voices. And so when we see things that could potentially become an issue, we as a community have to stand on preventative measures as well as, also being mindful that we don't want our businesses to leave. And so I think that when we decided that we were going to have a pre-conversation, it gave them the opportunity to really look at the community concern and maybe do some preventative measures to kind of fix some of the issues that they had. And for me, right, because I'm not going to stand here and ever say that I would want to see the business leave, because it is one of the few African-American businesses in our community. And so I want to see him flourish. However, the crowd creates a problem in that particular area. And so we have to be mindful of that. And so I don't want to say that it is his fault, right? I want to be fair and say, I don't believe it is his fault, but I do want to be fair and say is that he had the opportunity to take the measures and ensure that he could control the crowd as best as possible. But on multiple of us have gone and seen the same thing night after night after night. And so maybe the night that you went, it was calm, and maybe he is doing better. So I do agree, maybe a conversation should happen, but I don't agree that we should roll back our decision.
Okay, I'm gonna let you make a brief comment. I'm not gonna get into a back and forth because everyone here has heard this and you guys can decide how you want to vote. But Malik, I'll recognize you.
Yeah, I mean, knowing the community like I do, I grew up not too far from there. There is a high level of people that be outside naturally. So whether if that place is there or not, they're gonna be outside. So for us to not to have a business out there, that's, I mean, that's that's like saying, oh, if we put something else there, the same crowd is not, the same crowd gonna be there. They grew up there, they congregate there, the liquor store is right there. There's a bunch of stuff of reasons why all my life, that whole block been like that. My whole life. And I know that for a fact. I'm just saying it's nothing now because it's a business that serving liquor, of course, is going to be a little bit more people there. I'm not saying that there isn't. I'm saying trying to quote control the narrative or push it towards that's what the business is bringing. I disagree because of its history of the block.
Thank
That's
you.
all.
You know that block better than me. I will just say, though, that the crowd was in front of the previous location and now it's moved to the new one. So the crowd seems to be following the business, at least for now. But, you know, we can all view that how we do. So now with that said, is there a motion to revoke Teamwork on Three's liquor license, you know, to notify the SLA that that's our position? Rosa, you want to make a motion? Go ahead.
A motion to revoke Teamwork application for liquor license 0370-24-119977.
Is there a second? Seconded by Jewel. I'm gonna see if we don't have to do a roll call, all right? So I'm just gonna read the motion back one more time. So there's a motion to revoke Teamwork on Three LLC's liquor license, basically, okay? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. We got Jennifer.
Abstain,
opposed.
Dawn Sanders.
Okay, I'll recognize you. Hold on. Jennifer, Asher, Jessica, Loretta, Malik, and Dawn. Am I missing anyone? And Russell. Okay, you know what? We're going to go to roll call because everybody's calling out of turn. Let's go roll call.
Jose Altamirano. Yes. Fernando Alvarez. Adem Brija.
Yes.
Marie Charles.
Yes.
Leslie Colon. Carlos Diaz. Rosa Diaz. Jessica Elliott. You mad at me, Jessica? David Giordano. Yeah. James Gray. Abstain. John Green. Chancellor Gregg. Wanda Hopkins.
Abstain.
Keoka Jackson. Christina Johnson is absent. Jill Jones. James Kemp. Sage Mason. Malik McCullough. Jennifer Meyer. Jessica Morris is absent. Nelson Rama. Beverly Pabon. Samantha is absent. Tanya Phelps. Thank you, Tanya. Valerie is absent. Asher Rodriguez. Don Sanders.
Abstain.
Thank you. Xavier Santiago. Russell Schuler. Loretta So. Close. Derek Stampone.
No.
Vinny Torres. Anne Marie is absent. Jason is absent. Candy. Abstain. Nye Whitaker. Nye. Agatha White. Motion does not carry.
I encourage all those who abstain to notify us what information you need to make an informed decision on this, or I also encourage you to go by that business. Abstentions are no's. It means you didn't have enough information this evening. So see what information you need. Yep. I didn't interpret any no's. I said an abstention is to vote because you don't have all the information you need. So if you don't have the information to make an informed decision, I'm asking you guys what information you need and we will provide it. I didn't ask any specific individual here what opinion they have. Well, you said I interpreted people's no's. I didn't interpret anyone's no's. I just said abstention is because you do not have the information to make a vote. And I feel I'm doing my duty as the chair, asking all of you what information. Now, if you get that information and you decide to vote yes or no, that is none of my business. So that's where I'll leave that. With that said, we will now go to new business. So there were residents from the HDFCs from Madison Avenue at 1787, 1825, and 1831 Madison Avenue. They came to the Housing Committee for a letter of support. This letter of support was discussed. I feel the committee felt it was too broad. It was asking for too many things to help people of very high incomes, not just seniors who were being displaced or lower moderate incomes. So myself, along with the committee, redrafted a letter of support that really covers the populations that we are looking to target, seniors that would be displaced, and those individuals of low and moderate incomes. You've all had the opportunity to review this. All the materials we vote on are now distributed ahead of time. So with that said, is there any discussion on this letter? Does anyone have any questions, comments, concerns? Okay, seeing none then, I will entertain a motion on this letter of support. Fernando? Motion to approve. Okay, so Fernando's making a motion to approve this letter of support for targeted anti-displacement relief for vulnerable owner occupants facing expiring property tax abatements. Is there a second? Seconded by Jewel. All right, we'll go. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, Dawn. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Any present not voting? Present not voting, Chancellor? All right, the motion passes. That concludes old and new business. We will now go to our elected official representatives. Is anyone present, Angel? Okay, come up, you're recognized. Yep, of course.
From Councilmember Youssef Salam's office, and I just want to brief you on a few things. Councilmember is proud to sponsor several important pieces of legislation and resolutions aimed at protecting small businesses, improving public safety, strengthening accountability, and honoring civil rights and leadership for small businesses. Construction Relief, Bill 0799. This bill will require the Department of Small Businesses to create a support program for small businesses impacted by long-term city construction projects like the Second Avenue Subway. The second one is the Juvenile Interrogation Protections Resolution 0370. This resolution calls for the New York State to require that mental health professional be present whenever juveniles are interrogated by the police, helping to ensure that young people receive appropriate support and protection during questioning. The second one is, the other one is the Co-op and Condo Board Accountability. This resolution is 0367. This resolution urges the state legislator to remove the statute of limitations for lawsuits against cooperative and condominium boards when residents seek damages caused by bad faith actions by those on the boards. And the next one's police firearm discharge accountability. This is 0719. This bill will require blood alcohol testing for NYPD ununiformed officer who discharges a firearm in New York City and causes injury or death, whether on or off duty. And the next one is honoring Charles B. Rangel, resolution 0366, which is will be declared on June 11th as Charles B. Rangel Day in New York City. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for staying. Are there any questions? Jessica?
Thank you for your presentation. I just have a point of clarification from the chair, why the Manhattan Borough President's office goes at the beginning of the meeting and everyone else is asked to wait. Just curious. Thanks.
Because the Manhattan Borough President's rep has consistently come in person every meeting that I can recall we've had, aside from a couple. And that email was communicated to all the elected officials and their reps when I started. I sent that email before we ever met. All this stuff is subject to change. And as you can see, he remains here till the meeting is over. Oftentimes, the other reps had come in and left. So, you know, the previous administration did things their way, and we're trying to do things differently. I'm not saying better, but we're going to do it differently because I didn't see any meaningful engagement. And I'd rather have no engagement than not meaningful engagement. We're not here to waste each other's times either. With that said, all right.
Yes, thank you. For the representative of Dr. Yusuf Salam, can you please provide your name, your email, and phone number where people may be able to reach you? Thank you.
Can you come to the mic?
Oh, thank you. My name is Franzette Collymore, and my email is fcollymore@council.nyc.gov.
Thank you. All right, we're going to now recognize Oriana Rivera from Senator Serrano's office.
Hello, good evening, CB11. Thank you for having me tonight. I'd like to share a few updates of events and happenings this month. Senator Serrano continues to introduce and defend budget extenders bills, and negotiations of the FY 2027 state budget remain ongoing. These extenders bills are critical to ensuring the uninterrupted operation of state government, including the state payroll, Medicaid services, and school funding. Throughout the negotiations, Senator Serrano has continued working alongside colleagues to advance a final budget that delivers meaningful investments for our communities across New York, including funding for housing, education, healthcare, public safety, the arts, and essential services that we rely on every day. I also like to mention that and remind that we have our monthly constituent hours, and the next one will be this coming Friday, May 22nd, from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. at Jefferson Senior Center, that's located 2205 First Avenue. And we're going to have also a free civil legal services that's going to happening on June 9th from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. If you have any legal issue that you'd like to address, or if you need legal assistance, please feel free to contact our office at 212-828-5829 to make an appointment for that day. And also for all the seniors, we also have uh, free resources for seniors package. So again, please feel free to reach out to the office so we can mail it out. And just reminding you that we're open. Our office that is located on 335 East 100th Street. That's between 1st and 2nd Ave, Monday to Friday, 9 to 5 p.m. And our email is serrano@nysenate.gov, and my email is orivera@nysenate.gov. Feel free to reach out if any issues or any questions that you might have. Thank you.
Thank you, Oriana. Do we have any questions? Okay, with that said, we will move to Luther Eiler from the District Attorney's Office.
Good evening. Good evening. I'm Luther D. Isler, the East Harlem Community Engagement Coordinator for the Manhattan District Attorney's Office. And I have great news. We are co-presenting a gun buyback on Saturday, June 13, from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Cash for guns. No questions asked. Depending on what you are bringing, you'll be receiving prepaid cards after the gun is inspected. This is completely anonymous, so you don't have to give any information. You do have to wait for the item to be inspected so that you can receive your prepaid card. It will happen. The drop-off site will be at Central Baptist Church. That is 166 West 92nd Street. And if there's any other information, I'll give you my number. Our office number is 212-864-6889. I will be emailing this to make sure you have it if you haven't already received it. But we're very excited that we're making this happen.
Thank you so much, Luther. Do we have any questions for Luther? Sage?
I'm not a gun owner, but how much are you paying for guns?
Great question. So it depends. So it's $500 for operable handguns and assault rifles, $200 for ghost guns or 3D printed guns, $75 for operable rifles and shotguns, $25 for air guns, non-operable guns, and imitation pistols.
Thank you. And thank you for staying, Luther. We appreciate it. What? We have another question, Agata?
I was just curious, what happens to the guns after you get them?
Yes, great question. So the guns will be destroyed. The idea is to get these guns just out, away, no access. It is most important for us to just remove these guns from the community, and that is what's going to happen with them.
Thank you. And I don't see any more hands, so thank you. Oh, Candy?
Here.
I didn't get to hear where he's having the staff, where they're doing the buyback.
Can you give the location of the buyback?
Yes, the location is Central Baptist Church. That is 166 West 92nd Street.
Hold on, there's one more comment from
How
Candy.
come you're not doing anything in East Harlem? No, we need another one. We just can't do it just one.
Well, just let him answer that.
Yeah,
Are you
so-
considering doing one in East Harlem at some point?
So there's two thoughts to this. Yes, the first thing is, yes, we are considering, I don't know East Harlem particularly, but yes, Harlem in particular. However, part of the thought is that we were concerned, or at least NYPD was concerned, and the collective putting together is concerned, that individuals might not want to be seen moving the guns in that community. So it might feel safer for them to come somewhere slightly adjacent. So that's one of the thoughts, but we are still considering doing an additional one. We have done multiple in the past, so that's not out of the question.
Thank you, Luther. We actually appreciate that answer and the thoughtfulness behind it. With that said, that concludes the elected official representatives portion of the meeting. We will move to announcements. I will just briefly let everyone know that our next full board is on June 16th at the East Harlem Scholars Academy at 2017 First Avenue. Asher, I see you have an announcement. Please come up to the mic. Thank you.
All right, I forgot to mention this during my report, but the participatory budgeting schools were announced, and the two schools, that one was PS7, one what was the air conditioning for was it the gym or the auditorium? Both. For the gym and auditorium, it was $750,000, and then Lexington Academy one for their bathrooms, $250,000. So thank you everyone who helped supported that. I know there's a whole bunch of board members who spoke to poll workers from. We had youth poll workers, I think, from both PS7 and Lexington Academy. So thank you all for voting.
Thank you, Asher. Any other announcements? Yeah. Carlos? I'll bring you the mic. I got you. Got it. What?
June 3rd, the Barrio Music Speak Festival starts. This is our 5th year, and you guys are all, oh, you hear me now?
We hear you.
The Barrio Music Speak Festival 5th anniversary is this Wednesday, next Wednesday, the 3rd, June 3rd. You're all welcome to attend. We usually invite all the elderly to come. We have live entertainment and, of course, good food in the neighborhood. Tell you, 106th Street between Lexington and 3rd Avenue.
Thank you, Carlos.
Well, White Park.
Thank you, Carlos. Rosa?
Thank you. We have, I know Metropolitan Hospital is having their Pride event on Wednesday, June 3rd from 12 to 2 p.m. Hopefully everyone knows where they're located, but 1901 First Avenue is going to be by the parking lot, and also Seneca Village Landscape, they're having their Juneteenth event literally on June 19th from 1 to 3 p.m. West 82nd and 89th Street. And lastly, Bridging Communities and Culture Together, we're having our Fathers event on June 13 at East Harlem Community Partnership. Please join. Everyone is welcome. 12 to 3 p.m. And that's it. Thank you.
Nilsa? That did not need to be on the record. Okay, with that said, that concludes the James?
Hey, don't, oh. Is it on? Testing, oh, okay. The El Caribe Democratic Club is having street naming on Saturday, May 23rd, 2026 at 105th Street and Lexington Avenue. All invited. There's going to be a reception following this street naming at the Julio de Burgos Center as well.
Thank you, James. Go ahead, Vinny.
It's going to be at 12 p.m. El Caribe Democratic
For the Democratic Club, yep.
Yeah.
Okay, and from now on, I know you probably all do it. If you have announcements and there are flyers that come with those announcements, the board office does a great job, but just to make sure, send those flyers and we will put them in the newsletter. And if it's too late for the newsletter, we will blast them out in emails. All right, so with that said, we will go to roll call.
Okay. Last roll call. Jose Altamirano. Jose Altamirano, thank you. Fernando Alvarez, thank you. Adembria, thank you. Marie Charles.
Present.
Leslie Colon, thank you. Carlos Diaz, thank you. Rosa Diaz is myself. Jessica Elliott, thank you. David Giordano, thank you. Ara Gizeri, thank you. James Gray, thank you. John Green, absent. Chancellor Gregg, thank you. Wanda Hopkins,
Present.
Kyoka Jackson, Christina Johnson, absent. Jewel Jones, thank you. James Kemp, thank you. Sage Mason, Malik McCulloch, Guys, please, too much noise. Jennifer Mayer, thank you.
For a second. From now on, stay till everybody's roll call's been taken. It's not that big of a deal. We all came at the same time. We should all leave at the same time. Thank you.
Jessica Morris, absent. Nilsa Orama, thank you. Beverly Pabon, thank you. Samantha Pedreiro, absent. Tanya Phelps, thank you. Valerie Ponti, absent. Asher Rodriguez, thank you. Don Sanders,
Present.
thank you. Xavier Santiago, thank you. Guys, Russell Schuler, thank you. Loretta So, thank you. Derek Stampone, thank you. Vincent Torres, thank you. Anne-Marie Vasquez, absent. Jason Villanueva, absent. Candy Vives Vasquez, thank you. Nye Whitaker, absent. Agatha White, thank you. Roll call is done.
Meeting's adjourned at 9:02 PM. Thank you.
I gotta go, relieve. I guess, yeah, sister-in-law.
Appreciate it. Great. Thank you for staying with us. We'll definitely get you in front of the committee. Scott?